Welcome to another episode of WEBTOON Wars. I haven't done these in a while because I had different things in mind, but yesterday I was scrolling WEBTOON looking for some new drama I could dig my claws in. And I found the drama called Trapped in a Soap Opera. Sounded just like something I was looking for, so I immediately clicked on it. And I was just about to get into the adventure when I spotted the character's name. And I was like, Jia Han. She does sound familiar. Isn't Jia Han the name of the character who is the main protagonist of the webtoon called Maybe Meant to Be? And that webtoon is something that I really enjoy and might actually release another video regarding it, but generally I can recommend it. If you like the trope of quirky couples and fake relationships going real, you'll really enjoy this webtoon. But I am not here to talk about it solely. I'm here to talk about which of these two Jia Hans did Jia Han better. First Jia we're gonna look into is the character that I have discovered yesterday, a character from Trapped in a Soap Opera. And it's a girl that gets trapped in a soap opera and we get trapped alongside with her. We learn a bit about her backstory. We know that she's an orphan and she had a rough life and she's just in the process of buying a new house. And she's really proud of herself. She's really expressing that joy until her heart stops. And as she falling down on the floor, she looks in the telly and she catches the glance of the main villainess in the soap opera, and in the most isekai way possible, she gets transferred into the world of that soap opera and becomes that villainess. What I straight away liked about her is the fact that she had this survivor mentality. She was very kind of like cold-headed about it, which is kind of interesting. At first I wasn't really buying into it because I was like, okay, so she's not worried that she just freaking died and got transferred there. Like, how is she not freaking out? But then we kind of learned about her demeanor and it makes perfect sense. She's just trying to kind of, think about logically. We see that she's that kind of a person that, always tries to operate in the world using her reason. And she quickly decides that she needs to basically avoid the certain mistakes that villainess she just became made, so she can avoid the fate of that villainess that is obviously an ill fate. And she's essentially trying to cheat death, making long story short, because she did die in the real world as Jia Han, and now she is likely to die in that soap opera drama as that villainess. So she's trying to avoid that. She's well organized, she's smart, she's calculating, but she's also very empathetic and kind. So when she becomes that villainess, she kind of struggles to, first of all, play that role in the universe she just found herself in. And secondly, it is really difficult for her to endure the treatment that comes with that role. Like, people literally despise Sarah, which is the name of the villainess she just became. And they are very fast to let her know that. So she kind of has to learn to navigate the world where everybody is against her. And what is really cool about this character is that we right away notice that she's very emotionally intelligent. Of course, she came equipped with some, information that she shouldn't supposed to have because she was experiencing this soap opera as a viewer first, and then she kind of, got trapped in there with that knowledge coming from like her viewership and everything. But also she appears to understand on a deeper level like the inner motivations and what drives the characters in the show that kind of become her acquaintances. So she knows which buttons to press to make them do what she needs them to do in order to avoid her horrible fate. She's kind of, trying to find compromises with these characters and give them what they want. So she doesn't come across as manipulative. It's more like she is trying to find the solutions that work for everyone, and she's using both of her intellect, her knowledge about the world, and her emotional intelligence alongside with it, and she achieves great results. That is until she meets the main female lead. The main female lead, as usually is with these kind of shows, she's the embodiment of virtue, kindness and goodness. But then we meet her and we realize that she's a freak of nature. Honestly, like there was this one, drawing of her. I swear to you, I was reading it late at night and it freaked me out. I was literally feeling like, okay, are we entering like the horror territory? Because that thing was something straight out of horror. Honestly. And that female lead plays quite a big role when it comes to the way we perceive our character, because she kind of like is creating this contrast where she's actually, the one who is supposed to be, virtuous. She's the one who is kind of conniving and prone to manipulation, and we see other characters kind of afraid of her. So in a way, it kind of flips the script. The main character who's supposed to be good, she's actually evil, and our main character who's supposed to be evil is actually good. And that kind of creates all sort of like messiness when it comes to the dynamics, and that affects like the plot of the drama as well. The series is still pretty much ongoing, is pretty fresh, so we don't have all the info yet, but based on what I've read so far, it will be causing some interesting shifts. And that also helps us connect with the main character more. Because of that contrast, her natural qualities come across to us on a deeper level, because they're contrasted with, the qualities of the female lead. And those qualities really shine through. We learn that our character is very strong-willed, witty. She tends to think strategically and possesses a lot of emotional intelligence, as I previously mentioned. And she doesn't appear to be a Mary Sue. Of course, I have only limited information regarding this character so far, because the series is kind of in the early stages of development, but so far this character feels realistic and is someone that I can get behind. The other Jia Han is kind of the opposite of her. She's disorganized, she's directionless, and she is a very flawed character. At the beginning, she almost comes across as an anti-hero. The premise is also very different from Trapped in a Soap Opera. On one hand, we have kind of like a classic isekai type of webtoon, and on the other hand, we have kind of like a classic modern world love story, right? And in this modern world, our main protagonist, Jia Han, she's super lost. She doesn't know what she wants to do with her life. She lives with her parents and they keep on pressuring her to get married because she's of age. I sounded like someone straight out of Jane Austen, but you know what I mean. She's kind of in the age where people get married, so her parents are getting impatient. They want to see, a golden ring on her finger. And in a desperate bid to take some of that pressure off her shoulder, she decides that she's gonna marry her childhood friend that she accidentally encountered again and reunited with. He also faces similar pressure, so they decide that for their mutual interest it would be best if they get married to each other, so nobody is giving them crap anymore. And that gesture of escapism changes Gia's entire life. Just like the main female lead in Trapped in a Soap Opera webtoon serves as a contrast to our female protagonist, our actual main lead in the story, the husband in Maybe Meant to Be serves more like a mirror to the other Jia Han. He holds it up to her face and pulls out all of the long forgotten bits she had in her to the broad daylight. In a way, he encourages her real self to come out. And because of that, she can begin to achieve her fuller potential. She can truly rely on him, and because she feels his support, she kind of begins to progress as a person. She finds work, she begins to learn how to face things head on first instead of running away, and she begins to experience her own emotions without suppressing them. That journey is not always comfortable, and it is pretty much still ongoing in the series, but we already see a shift in her as a character. In the beginning, frankly, I wasn't really a huge fan of her, as she came across a bit aggressive and self-interested, especially when it comes to the main lead, who is an absolute sweetheart. But then we find out that it is all actually one big front and kind of a defense mechanism that she learned along the way. That she's all about escapism. She doesn't want to, face things. She just turns them into a joke or does whatever she can to escape from facing the reality. And her journey as she learns how to unfilter herself is a very satisfying one. She slowly begins to drop her defenses around the person that knows her pure self, because he knew her while she was still a child, so he knew her before all of these defense mechanisms kicked in. So he kind of, in a way, knows her real essence, and he helps her to kind of reconnect with herself. And it's a really, really cool webtoon, honestly. I can't recommend it enough. It's very funny, it's very heartfelt. I absolutely love it. Jia Han's journey is especially satisfying for anyone who felt lost in life. And watching her and the male lead together, they are so adorable and quirky together, it's unreal. But aside from that, she's a very well-developed character, and I grown to like her a lot. But now we are getting to our final question. Who did Jia Han better? Maybe meant to be. I mean, honestly, no offense to Jia Han slash Sarah, but because her development is still in the early stage, I haven't quite clicked with her that much as with the other Jia. I kind of had my journey with the other Jia. I kind of went through the hurdles with her because at first I didn't like her and I was reading like the comic book for sort of like other characters, and then I began to like her, I began to understand her more, and then I began to relate to her more. But because of the screen time, I guess, obviously the story is kind of longer than the soap opera one, she just had more time to be developed, and she is a really, really cool character. The other Jia also is very promising, so I'm not saying no to her and I will be following her journey. However, so far, I mean, I feel like she's like an acquaintance to me, while the other Jia Han kind of grown to the status of a friend, if you know what I mean. I'm kind of using allegories, but yeah. I feel like I had more time to connect with her. So what do you think? Are you even aware of any of the Jias? Have you read any of these webtoons? Please let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. I am planning to release more webtoon and entertainment related videos in the future, so if you're interested in this kind of thing, please stay tuned. For now, I wish you a very lovely week and I'll speak to you later. Bye!